Test, test. Okay. Okay, this is the committee, federal committees. We're calling to order. Tonight we will be discussing proposed ordinance authorizing the Safety Service Director to forgive certain home loans. Okay, first of all, if we'll hear from Mr. Cousinar to present this to us.
Hello. Okay. Good evening, members of council, members of the public. I'm Matt Cousinar, PHP Director. Just to recap and articulate to council where we're at today. This ordinance has been amended quite a few times, but where we're at today is giving us the ability through the Safety Service Director's office the ability to forgive loans on a case-by-case basis. This ordinance does not compel the city administration or the Building, Housing, and Planning Department to forgive certain balances. It simply just gives us the authorization to move forward if we find hardships while trying to collect on these loans. Again, just to recap, there are 3 exhibits attached to this ordinance, and they're all different in their own way. Exhibit A is a list of about 22 borrowers who are all deceased. The Building, Housing, and Planning Department is in the process of trying to collect on those loans. However, certain loans will be deemed as uncollectible based on a variety of factors. There are only 2 out of the 22 loans that have transferred with title insurance through title companies. So we are pursuing those current property owners and are advising them to reach out to those title companies. If title companies were involved in the transfer of any of those properties, they should have title insurance, and the current property owners should not bear that responsibility when those properties were insured properly through transfers. So that is Exhibit A. Exhibit B are all borrowers who met the minimum requirements. You'll notice that all of these loans are listed as deferred loans. Originally, when these loans were given throughout the course of this program, there were 2 loans on each property for each borrower. One was a repayable loan, one was a deferred loan to remain on the property. So all of these borrowers have made their repayable obligation, and we would, if this ordinance does pass, we would have the authorization to forgive any remaining interest payments, but not any principal balances for the deferred portions. Again, this would just give us the flexibility to work with individuals if they come to us with a hardship, or if for whatever reason the loan is if the loan is uncollectible. The third list, or Exhibit C, is a list of borrowers who have repayable and deferred loans. As of today, all of these borrowers are current in their repayable payments. They've met the minimum requirements, maintaining homeownership, paying property taxes, and paying property taxes. So with that said, we would be looking for authorization, again, based on hardship or otherwise on uncollectability, the ability to forgive remaining interest payments and make loan modifications. Right now, we are tied to the original loan documents that were signed by these various borrowers throughout the course of this program. We are working through the law department to collect on every single one of them, but as is there with every loan program, there will be some loans that become uncollectible. So we need the ability to make modifications as we need to. So that is about as brief as a summary as I can give.
Thank you.
We'll start with questions from council. Ms. Henley?
Thank you, Ms. Duval. I have a couple questions. So, and the terms have changed a little bit over the years, but a title guarantee protects against any liens or encumbrances of record. Mm-hmm. An owner's policy also protects against any liens or encumbrances not of record. So do we know if these are standard title guarantees or the optimal one, which would be, the owner's fee that we could maybe go back and collect on, at least on those couple of them.
Sure. So through the chair, the law department is reviewing those 2 loans that we were able to find that transferred through title companies. What they've advised us to do, and which we're doing right now, is to send notice to the current property owners so they can start, having that conversation with the title company. We believe that they were insured appropriately, and that the current homeowners will be made whole through the title companies.
Okay.
If that answers your question.
That answers that question. And then I'm also going to assume that any programs like this that are current, we've really reviewed all the documents to make sure that nothing like this happens again.
Through the chair. And it's honestly, in my opinion, it's a fluke that this happened in the first place.
Okay.
That the properties transferred and the title companies didn't catch them. We reviewed every single one of these loans before presenting these lists to City Council. All of them had mortgages on the property filed timely by the City of Lorain. We were able to find them by simply going on the county recorder's site. It's amazing to me that the title companies couldn't find these when we could very easily through public access means.
Okay. And then ultimately, for all these different, if this is approved, who is going to make the ultimate decision whether or not, because in fooling around and working with some of the numbers, it's ridiculous to try to pursue some of these, okay, at least based on the knowledge that I have. It would cost us more to pursue trying to collect, we're losing money in effect. So who ultimately will make the decision as to which properties will be, that we will continue to push and try to make the city whole, or we're just going to say, it's a no-win and write it off?
Sure. Through the chair, the ordinance is crafted to give the Safety Service Director authorization to do that, but we have been working through the Safety Service Office with the Law Department to make those determinations. I should note that any money that is collected through this program, it is also included in the ordinance, but goes back into program income under the HOME program, the Home Investment Partnership Program. What we are able to use out of the dollars that are collected, in addition to the money that we get every year, is only 10% to spend on administrative expenses. So all of the time it takes, the court filings, those all come out of the home administrative expenses. So if we're collecting on a loan that's, the balance is $15,000, we'll be recouping $1,500 of that to use as admin. I think that I'm not sure what the filing fee at the Lorain County Court is for a money only case, but it's hundreds of dollars, if not over $1,000. So all of those factors will be taken into consideration.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Ms. Henley. We have 2 other council people that have buzzed in. First, Mr. Nutt, and then Ms. Springowski.
Thank you very much, to the chair. I know we went over this in a meeting before, and I apologize. I have it on my notes in the drawer, and I seem to have misplaced them. So I had a few questions on there. But you had mentioned the funds collected, only 10% can be used as for the admin expense. The remaining collected funds, would that roll back into that account to then be loaned back out for new participants in a similar program, an updated program?
Through the chair, yes, that is correct. So the remaining balance will go back into our home rehab program, down payment assistance program, things like that.
Perfect. So any money that we can bring in can be used to help citizens going forward. Okay,
correct.
Fantastic. And then I believe in the other meeting you had mentioned that not that the plan is to forgive all of these funds, but that HUD had approved or agreed with, if that were to happen, there's no issue with HUD on that end, because some of the funds through their programs or whatnot, right? They're on board with this.
Yes, through the chair, that is correct. Before even getting this ordinance to City Council for your review, we received approval from HUD to proceed.
Okay, just making sure. Okay, and then obviously, I mean, there's too many cases here, obviously, as you said, for how it's written into the loans for the Safety Service Director to oversee I think that's obviously the best case scenario, because you're going to have to go through line item by line item with law, like you guys are doing, obviously, and just see where the need is, where we need to forgive and where we don't need to forgive. And I obviously trust in the administration and the city structure to make that decision and those calls. On Exhibit A, that'd be the only one I'm necessarily overly concerned about, because of the fact that all those individuals are deceased, and that might be the biggest amount that has to just be written off, let's say. And I'm assuming, obviously, the ones, as you said, there's only 2 that transferred with title companies. The rest of them, I'd assume, transferred quick claim deed when the individual passed away and it was left to a family member.
That is correct.
About right. Okay. Are there any of those that transfer to new ownership that's outside the family that you have found yet?
Through the chair, that is correct. There have been at least a few instances where they've transferred via a quick claim deed to the next of kin. The property is sold to a private individual. The property is sold again and again. So it's not every situation is identical, but there are a few of these properties that have transferred multiple times, and this mortgage is still outstanding.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's understood. That's what I was kind of concerned about, but yeah, okay. I think that's all I have right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nutt. Ms. Springowski?
Yes, I don't think that it can be reiterated enough that you did this with the full concurrence and at the suggestion of HUD. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you. And you have taken steps along with the Safety Service Director to change the process and method of how all of this is done so that this will never occur again. Is that correct?
Correct.
Right. So, and this ordinance is very clear in saying that none of these will be forgiven without the concurrence and the review of the Safety Service Director, who has quite extensive experience in dealing with this in a past lifetime. So it's not like he doesn't understand the process or that it would be done capriciously, but these have just been sitting here, and as time goes on, they just sit, and it is cumbersome to the entire program. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Springowski. Thank you, Ms. Springowski. We're now inviting the audience. If you have comments or questions. Okay, returning to the council. Are there any further questions by the council? Mr. Nutt?
Thank you, through the chair. The only thing I would say is, as this moves along through the process and certain amounts are forgiven, I'm not asking that council be informed line item by line item, but can we just maybe get an update when Exhibit A is cleared out, or B, or just to kind of give us an idea? And then it just be nice to know how much those funds are going back in that program to be loaned back out to help other citizens. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nutt. Mr. Carry on, as soon as I find you.
I feel bad. I went through that earlier last week. Couldn't find anybody. Thank you, through the chair, to members of council and the public. Well, something that we feel is important. These loans, obviously, they go back many years. We always want to maintain a level of consistency, transparency, fairness for all those that have paid their loans in full over the years. So before we dive into this, there will be a guideline that will be developed that we will share with council as well, just to assure that there is a system in place and decisions are not being made based on somebody's personal opinion or emotions. We are looking at properties to determine the loan amount, determine how much is owed, determine how much equity we have in each one of those properties, and also understanding the specific hardship that a family or an owner could be facing. So we understand that. We do believe that there are several properties here that in my opinion, should pay those loans. And once those properties do transfer, the city should receive the dollars. That's why the program, when it was created, is different. But if you look at the hub guidelines in the home program, there are at least 10 to 20 communities nationwide that still operate the same system and the same program that we did 30 years ago. So it's not to say that it was a bad program. It's just something that it was permitted by home. And so we just want to make sure that as we go through it, we can review the agreements, the understanding, the value. In most 90% of the units that we have done a deep dive in, every single one has had an incredible increase in property values, and there's equity that should the full amount not be forgiven or partial, that there's still enough equity in each one of those properties that we feel that the property owners will not be placed in a financial hardship. But we'll create a guideline, we'll bring it to council, and at least as we go through them, it'll be based on a process and not just on an emotional plea.
Thank you. Ms. Henley?
Thank you, Mr. Ball. Mr. Carrion, I have a question. So some of these properties that have obviously increased in value, and so they owe us, let's just use $10,000 as a, and you feel it's a fair thing and go ahead and proceed with it. Now, if they don't have that $10,000, are you going to require them to take a second mortgage, or will you set it up, or something like that? Or will you set it up so that they can go on a loan program with the city again? Because based on current happenings, interest rates could end up at God knows where. I'll
share through the chair to Councilwoman Henley. That'll be part of the process of the guidelines. This is not new. Many years ago, 30 years ago, we did loan modifications up on the 5th floor. So this is not a new concept, but we'll look at it and evaluate it. And again, depending on the hardship, financial condition, or any other type of condition, then we'll make that decision on a case by case.
Thank you. Mr. Carrion, I'm reassured when you said you're going to set up a process so that it's very transparent how you're going to get it forgiven or why you're going to be held responsible for it. I thank you for that. Are there any other comments, questions? Okay, then I'm looking for a motion. Ms. Springowski?
I would make a motion to send this back to council for approval.
Mr. Nutt?
I'd second that.
It's been moved and second that we send this back to council with recommending approval. Members of the committee, I'd like to hear your vote, your vocal vote.
Aye.
Okay, is that good? Yeah. Okay. Oh, I have to vote?
Yes. Motion carries.
I always vote on committees, I'm not yes. Okay, yes, carried unanimously?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. This is not my first rodeo.
Good evening, everybody. Please shut off your cell phones, electronic equipment, and rise for the prayer and pledge. Ms. Carter, would you please lead us?
Yes. Heavenly Father, we come before you with gratitude for the opportunity to serve our country and our community. Grant us wisdom and discernment as we deliberate and make decisions that affect the lives of those we represent. Guide our thoughts and words so they may reflect integrity, compassion, and fairness. Help us to seek unity in our diversity, to honor each other's perspective, and to always strive for what is just and what is right. We ask that you will bless our efforts tonight as we contribute to the growth of our community and bring hope and opportunity to all. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
We have all 11 members present this evening.
Excellent. Item number 3, disposition of minutes.
We have the minutes from the March 3rd regular meeting, the March 17th public hearing, and the March 17th regular meeting.
Ms. Pringowski.
Motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes, please.
Mr. Demakia.
Support motion.
Please vote.
The motion carries unanimously.
Item 4, correspondence communications from the mayor.
There is none.
Any comments, Mayor? Besides, happy birthday.
I'm getting older every day. In any event, I wanted to give council some good news. I'm not trying to steal the finance committee's meeting that's coming up, I know sometime in April, but I have been running the budget performance reports every month, and I thought that I should report the first quarter of the year's report regarding the general fund. We're at 27% in revenue. We're at 26% in expenses. But that comes out to $11,403,447.21 in revenues and $10,367,716.14 in expenses, which at least at the end of the first quarter shows us a little bit over $1 million to the good. So I think that's good. And the overall budget report itself shows us that our revenue is at 26%, our expenses are at 20%, and that figures out to be $35,234,860.98 in revenue and $25,509,403.66 in expenses, which gives us $9,725,000 to the good. So far, so good. I praised our managers this morning at the managers meeting for being mindful of the budget, trying to remember some of the things that were said at council during budget talks, and hopefully they're going to continue to do that as we go through the year. Second of all, I wanted the council to know that the county has given us up to $30,000 to demolish the Emerald Valley property. Even though we don't own that property, they're going to put a lien on it. But it's been an eyesore out there on Levitt Road, and so they're going to give us the money to demolish that. And third of all, I know there's been a lot of questions about vacated alleys in the city of Lorain, and Rick Soto is preparing a list of all of the alleys in the city of Lorain that have been vacated, so we'll have that information. So if you get calls about alleys, we'll know which ones are still owned by the city of Lorain and which ones have been vacated. That's it.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks for sharing that good news. Item 5, correspondence from directors, boards, and commissions.
We have correspondence received from Matt Kuzner, Director of the Building, Housing, and Planning Department, regarding a notice received from Shane Donnelly, President of Rathland Soils, LLC, and their intent to operate an Ohio-regulated Class II compost facility at 7450 Terminal Drive.
Mr. Sartsberg.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President, and thank you to the administration for the great news on Emerald Valley. I'd like to send this item to Building and Lands Committee. I can reach out tomorrow to Mr. Donnelly and also Kate from our engineering department and see when we can maybe schedule something with Councilman Nutt's committee to have both Shane and Kate in here. To kind of go over this. There were some residential concerns that I think have been alleviated, but I think it's better off, bringing the experts in to kind of explain that. So I'd like to send this to the Building and Lands Committee, to Mr. Nutt's committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Amakia.
I support the motion to send it to committee.
No objection. Please vote.
The motion carries unanimously.
Item 6, correspondence from other governmental agencies.
There is none.
Item 7, correspondence from the general public.
We have correspondence received from resident Veronica Smith regarding concerns on Main Avenue.
Ms. Hensley.
Thank you, President Arredondo. I just wanted to thank Dale Vandersalmen and Lori Garcia for their quick response when this letter was forwarded to them. It verified the information that I had passed on to Ms. Smith, and we are in contact. So I want to thank both of them.
Thank you. If there's no other comments, receive and file, please. Item B.
Item B is email correspondence received from Shane Connolly, President of Rathland Soils, advising council that Rathland Soils is in the process of submitting a registration to operate an Ohio-regulated Class 2 compost facility on Terminal Drive.
Mr. Sargsbury.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would also like to send this, along with the other correspondence, to the Building and Lands Committee.
Ms. Bogowski.
I would support that.
No objection, please vote.
The motion carries unanimously.
Item C.
Item C is correspondence received from the Legal Aid Society of Cleveland regarding their upcoming legal advice clinics.
No comments, receive and file. Item D.
Item D is correspondence received from Eric Newsom from Better Block Organizer regarding the Learning Better Block event on August 9th, 2025.
No comments, receive and file. Item 8, public comments.
We have 3 members of the public signed up to speak this evening. First up is Bob Frimmel, and the topic is Let's Get Real.
Once again, if it's your first time up to the mic, please come up, state your name. We already, I believe, have your address listed on the sheet. Stay on topic, and you have 2 minutes. Right there, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to thank the council and especially Ms. Kempton. I believe she's going to offer a resolution for Let's Get Real. And I just want to let her know and the council know and all the members here how we appreciate being recognized for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Joanne Zelina, and the topic is new business.
Joanne Zelina, 2214 Wilson Drive. Is it on? Is it on? Okay. All right. Don't take it off my 2 minutes, please. I just want to say thank you to whatever department that okayed a new business to come to the east side. You guys know that back when Taco Bell came, I was a supporter of Taco Bell. Well, this one here is called Creevy's Fish. And I also want to thank Miss Henley. I happened to go in there today. I noticed they were open. And talking to the gentleman, he is from Westlake. And he happened to tell me that today was the short day or the first day of opening, a soft day, they called it. And I said, so when was it? He said, today. I said, oh, well, geez, okay, can I order? He said, yes, ma'am. Well, I was his first customer. Okay, so, and I was happy. So I took it home. And by golly, it is delicious. I had chicken tenders and french fries. So please, when motorsports open up and get started, and even now, go to this, it's where Burger King used to be on Colorado, right by Root Road. So please, I have another one for my councilwoman. Okay, and again, Beth, thank you for whatever part you did in this. It's another business going to the east side, which I am thankful for. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our final speaker this evening is Jane Morales, and the topic is crime.
Hi, Jane Morales. I hate to be the party pooper all the time,
But can somebody do a town hall? Can somebody do some type? The crime in our city is insane, and I know you guys know this. Every night. I live right off of Meister site. Like, I know it's everywhere, but it's out of control. And then could somebody, I'm not really sure who the boss is of the chief of police, but could somebody maybe give him a little talking to? He spent the whole day online arguing with me on a Facebook page. I mean, come on. Don't get me started on our tax dollars, because I know it sounds redundant all the time, and I hate always being the party pooper. And you know what, Mayor? If what you said is right, kudos to you. I'm glad that we're not in the red right now. Like, kudos. I'm woman enough to admit that. But can we do something about the crime, please? Like, I don't care, anything at all. Maybe, like I said, keep the chief offline from arguing with residents about stupid stuff. Thanks.
Thank you. Item 9, committee reports.
The Building and Lands Committee met on Monday, March 24th to discuss a proposed ordinance amending Ordinance 4-21 in Sections 1141, 1143.04, 1123.02, 1125.02, 1127.02, 1129.02 of the codifieds in Ordinance 251-23, short-term rentals, and a proposed ordinance repealing designated sections of Ordinance 4-21 that enacted Sections 1151.10, 1173.04, 1173.05, and 1173.06 of the codified ordinances. The committee recommended referring both items back to council for consideration, and they are items 11A and 11B on this evening's agenda.
Thank you. Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, sir. Make a motion to concur with committee reports.
Ms. Winkowski.
Support.
Please vote.
The motion carries unanimously.
Item 10, legislation, first reading.
Introduced by Mrs. Springowski, a resolution declaring April as Scottish American Heritage Month in the city of Lorain.
Ms. Winkowski.
Yes, motion to suspend the three reading rule, please.
Ms. Duval.
Second.
Please vote.
The rule is suspended.
Any discussion? Ms. Winkowski.
Yes, yesterday was National Tartan Day. My mother was from Edinburgh, Scotland, and I remember when Lorain had a very thriving Scottish community. We had the Rock Haber Pipe Band, we had the Canadian Drill Team, and over at the old CYO, I'm showing my age here, so don't feel bad, Mr. Mayor. Over at the old CYO on Levitt Road, we used to have the Scottish dances, and there was quite a very vibrant international community with this, and then of course we host the games out in the games are hosted out in Oberlin, and if you've never seen a caber or a bale of straw, in Scotland they toss a sheep. If you've never seen it done, it can be highly entertaining, and then of course the Scottish dancing. So this is very, very meaningful to me. One of the things that drew my family to this city was the unique international diversity here, and I am so appreciative of every culture that is here. And that's all I wanted to say on this. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Mr. Wall.
Yes, again, I would like to, as I say, ditto some of Ms. Springowski's remarks. I think it is wonderful that the city of Lorain has such a varied ethnic population and that we celebrate it. And you may not be able to tell it, but I do have some Scottish ancestors.
I thought you looked like a cousin.
That's why you're such a good dancer. Ms. Brinkowski.
Yes, well, representing the Campbell, McLeod, and Sutherland clans, I would now move for passage.
Mr. Raw.
I certainly would second that.
Please vote.
The resolution is passed unanimously.
Thank you. Item B.
Item B is introduced by Ms. Kempton, a resolution recognizing and commending Let's Get Real for their service to the community in the city of Lorain.
Ms. Kempton.
Yes, I move to suspend the three reading rule.
Ms. Duval,
Second.
please vote.
The rule suspended.
Any discussion?
Yes, I have a short statement.
Proceed.
Tonight I am proud to present a resolution honoring Let's Get Real, Inc., a grassroots recovery community organization making a powerful impact here in Lorain County. April is Drug and Alcohol Awareness Month, a time to face hard truths with compassion and recognize that addiction doesn't just touch individuals, but ripples through families, neighborhoods, and our communities. The economic cost is real, but the human cost, the broken trust, the stolen years, the grief, is something that can't be measured with dollars. Recovery is rarely a straight line. For many, it takes multiple attempts, moments of hope and heartbreak, and a constant presence of people who refuse to give up. Let's Get Real doesn't just support those in recovery, but they stand beside their families, educate the public, and distribute life-saving Narcan, offer peer-led support that is grounded in lived-in experience. In government, we often talk about systems and policies. But tonight, I want to recognize the people, the volunteers, the survivors, the loved ones who showed up to support for a second chance, a third chance, or even a 10th chance. This resolution is a small gesture of thanks to an organization doing big work, not in the headlines, but in the living rooms, church basements, and community rooms across Lorain. Thank you to Let's Get Real for being a part of the solution, for holding more than hope when others can't, and for reminding us that recovery is possible and worth fighting for.
Thank you. Mr. Royal.
I just want to say thank you for your service. I agree 100% with Ms. Kempton. It's very obvious with my downfall five and a half years ago, and that's okay, because Ms. Kempton said it perfectly fine. As long as you're able to get back up and able to realize there's an issue, then you're able to continue to live life. And it starts with the programs. You know, when I first went to treatment, I told them to kiss my butt. I refused to say 28 days. I'm saying 10, stayed 37, and now work in treatment. And it's because of programs like you in our county and in our city that we're able to help the people in the city of Lorain, Lorain County, and Huron County. So I appreciate you, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Royal, for your first-hand comments.
Congratulations.
Mr. Duval?
Yes, I would like to thank the organizations such as Let's Get Real for those of us who have family members that benefit from it. It is not a stigma anymore. It is a real thing that families face every day. And so we thank you for what you do.
Thank you, Mr. Duval. If there's no further comments, Ms. Kempton.
I move for passage.
Ms. Duval,
Second.
please vote.
The resolution is passed unanimously.
Thank you. Item B.
I believe they're here for the presentation of the.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Please come in the front area, please. Ms. Kempton. Oh, there's anybody else you're inviting?
Yeah, you can talk to you. Just the mayor. I don't, this is not my show. This is his show. Here. Okay, come on, guys. Come on. Come on, guys. Come on.
There's a lot of us. There's always a lot of us. Everywhere we go, there's a lot of us.
So a resolution recognizing and commending Let's Get Real for their service to the community in the city of Lorain. Let's Get Real is a recovery community organization based in Lorain, Ohio, dedicated to providing vital services, resources, and services to families impacted by substance disorder, mental health challenges, and related issues. And I'd like to know if you'd like to say anything.
I would just like to say thank you. It's kind of rough out there, and it's, you know, anytime we can hear something positive, it just balloons our hearts, doesn't it? Yeah. Doesn't it? So I have a couple supervisors and a couple board members, and this role has been since I think we opened, which is many years. But I do appreciate the recognition. It just makes your day, you know. It's wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, and to the mayor?
I mean, I've been at Let's Get Real. We've done a video over there. I know how you guys help at the crisis center that we have, and so it's just a great thing that you do for our community. Not only do you help people that are struggling with addiction, but you also help the families, which is sometimes even more important because families don't understand why these things happen, and you're there to kind of help them get through these things. So again, I want to thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Second read. Item 11, legislation, second reading.
Our first item was introduced by Mr. Nutt, an ordinance amending ordinance 4-21 and sections 1141, 1143.04, 1123.02, 1125.02, 1127.02, 1129.02 of the Lorain Codified Ordinances and Ordinance 251-23 short-term rentals.
Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I make a motion to suspend the 3 reading rule.
Mr. Demakia.
Support.
Please vote.
The rule is suspended with two dissenting votes. Voting no are Mrs. Springowski and Ms. Henley.
Any discussion? No discussion, Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, sir. I make a motion for passage.
Mr. Demakia.
Support.
Please vote.
The ordinance is passed with two dissenting votes. Voting no are Mrs. Springowski and Mrs. Henley.
Item B.
Item B is also introduced by Mr. Nutt. An ordinance repealing designated sections of Ordinance 4-21 that enacted sections 1151.10, 1173.04, 1173.05, and 1173.06 of the Lorain Codified Ordinances and establishing in their place revised and amended sections 1151.10, 1173.04, 1173.05, and 1173.99 of the Lorain Codified Ordinances.
Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I make a motion to suspend the 3 reading rule.
Mr. Demakia.
Support.
Please vote.
The rule is suspended with two dissenting votes. Voting no are Mrs. Springowski and Ms. Henley.
Any discussion? No discussion, Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, sir. I make a motion for passage.
Mr. Demakia.
Support.
Please vote.
And the ordinance is passed with two dissenting votes. Voting no are Mrs. Springowski and Mrs. Henley.
Item 12, legislation, third reading.
There's none.
Item 13, committee calls.
On April 14th, July 14th, and October 13th, the Finance Committee will meet for quarterly budget updates.
Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just as an update, we will, I spoke with the auditor earlier today about our meeting on the 14th for our budget updates. That looks pretty good. But then also, we will be working to get the composting issue on buildings and land subcommittee, but then also the vacant commercial property ordinance that was on the agenda 4 weeks back, something like along those lines. Those will probably be both on the same day, but we'll work on a date for that.
Did you want to add the assessment ordinances to?
Yes, I forgot about those. Yes, if those are ready to roll, yes, let's get all three knocked out. Thank you.
Thank you. No other committee calls? Move on to miscellaneous concerns from council. Once again, if you have a concern, please put on your light. Ms. Kempton.
Yes, I've had some calls about speeding down California and Shipyard Way in Harbor Walk. The posted speed is 25 miles an hour, and the residents ask if it could be reduced. There's also an ongoing speeding problem on East Marina Parkway and West Marina Parkway. There were stop signs posted at the corner of California and Driftwood, which they've stated, and that has been very helpful. But with the new brewery and people coming in, there are definitely some issues with speeding. So whether it be a study or something else, we need to take care of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hadley.
Thank you, President Arredondo. I would just like to give kudos to the Lorain Police Department. We have an excellent chief of police, along with a well-trained staff and dedicated officers from top to bottom. So I'd like to give them credit. And I think, in my opinion, in my decades of living in this city, we have one of the best departments, and I see improvement daily across the board. And what's going on in Lorain is rampant across the country. So I want to thank all of these officers for putting themselves and their lives out there every day on a consistent basis. So thank you.
Thank you for your comment, Ms. Hadley. Ms. Duval.
Yes, I'd like to congratulate the Parks Properties Department for the trees they planted in Oakwood. They look beautiful, and as you think about the future, they're going to provide a beautiful shaded walkway. I just wanted to congratulate them for getting started on that. And hopefully, we have discussion about trees in other parts of the city. I hope we haven't forgot about that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wall. Ms. Smith.
Thank you, Council President. I had an issue on Dell Avenue. I'd like to sit with the residents and talk about this because it's going back and forth and it's not getting resolved. And there's some residents that's in the audience that also has a problem with water, but they were a little shy. They wouldn't come and speak. So hopefully after the meeting, they'll come down and speak. Also, the events that's at the parks. I had a couple of people that called me about, the insurance they have to pay. What exactly is an event? I mean, like Easter egg hunt, would that be an event? Could you give us a list of the events? Because we have Sergeant Sam Felton's celebration coming up in June. So want to know if that's an event so I could get the word out to the, the people. A lot of people don't know what the event is, and then when they find out, they're kind of, So I'd like to know if we could, get a letter out, or we can let us know what the event would be. And also, this month is also artistic month for blue, so if you can wear blue on Wednesday. But thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Moon. Service Director Gary.
Yeah, thank you through the chair to Councilwoman Moon and all members of council and the public. There are various events, gatherings, things of that sort. What we can do tomorrow, we'll share with all of you the list because it does identify what type of events are covered under each program and also which requirements in terms of deposits, insurance, etc. So I'm not going to list all of them, but I'll share that with everyone here so you can fully see what's in place for 2025. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Arroyo.
I just wanted to also appreciate the Lorain Police and Highway Patrol over this last weekend. There's been some shootings in South Lorain and some of the bars over the last week and a half. And last week I was able to sit down with 4 different bars and their bar owners, and was able to come to some type of agreement on what the city expects and what needs to happen at their establishments if they want to stay open. They're very open and would like to possibly invite the mayor or safety director to come to a meeting one of these times to sit down with these bar owners also and be able to build on this. Obviously, the bars are meant for entertainment for some, but if there's a problem, we're going to take control and we're going to have to do what we have to do to make sure our citizens are safe. With that being said, I'd like to invite last call for any elected officials, council members for the Cinco de Mayo parade. We're going to be finalizing our list, and the parade's going to be on March 3rd. May 3rd, I apologize. You know, I get nervous in front of people. And then, dang, now you made me nervous. And then April 19th at Oakwood Park, we'll be doing another Easter egg hunt for the children. So that'll start at 1 o'clock, and then after there will be a kickball tournament for adults starting at 3. So there's a lot of good stuff going on in South Lorain, and just because people read blogs or read the newspapers and some of the negativity, there's a lot of good stuff going on. So I'd like to invite you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arroyo. Taking the initiative also, we have not had a Cinco de Mayo parade since COVID, so thank you for being a part of that reorganization plan. Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, sir. Through the chair. I wasn't really going to say anything because I'm a little unprepared, but I was just thinking about it, and I only have so many days left on council, so I can't really drag my feet. I'm actually looking for feedback. I've had a lot of support for chickens, and I was given quite a few of the ordinances of local municipalities that do have chickens. I read the ordinance that did pass before, and the reason why it was overturned by the mayor at that time due to it being inefficient in specifics, but basically just feedback from council, feedback from residents, pro-chicken, anti-chicken. I have quite a few neighbors that even have chickens currently. So I'm just looking at a few things. Obviously, some good restrictions on there, some licensing, some other hoops to kind of go through. But any feedback, I'd appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nutt. Mr. Royer, you like to fill on?
Yeah, I just wanted to I just want to let Mr. Nutt know that I was the one that presented it and passed. But I mean, it's going to be an issue either way in the city. I had a gentleman behind my grandmother's house off of Oakwood that had 60 chickens, and obviously it is out of control. They can do it either way, but that ordinance right there was very simple: 1 rooster, 6 chickens. But then it was overruled, it was vetoed, and we had other eggs to hatch at the time, so we just let it go. But I'm in support.
Thank you. Ms. Moody, would like to fill on?
Yeah, I just want to say something. I had chickens on the corner of my neighborhood, and they called me Karen because they thought I turned them in, but I didn't turn them in. Some other people turned them in because of the smell. Then I found out the only reason is because in South Lorain, they had, in the basement, they were doing, what you call that chicken thing? They were having chicken fights there. Cockfights. Ooh. So I have ducks, I have geese, I have goats, I have everything in my ward. Back in the days, across 36th Street, that was the thing. But it's very hard to get the people to get rid of the chicken. And the steps are, they'll come out and then they don't get rid of them, they send them to a nice home. So they will go somewhere, So they do find a home for the chickens. They just don't eat them or get rid of them.
Yeah, I get calls about it too, but from the opposite end of it, in that I've had chickens get loose in neighborhoods and corner people and knocked an old woman down and things like that. Having this ordinance on the books, and I mean, it definitely needs to be a committee meeting where people can come and speak. When I like don't ask, don't tell. If we don't know about it and we're not going to go looking for it. But when they do it and they're blatant and they don't take care of the animals, then we have some teeth in it. And I mean, I have been called about sheep. I have been called about goats, chickens, ducks, turkeys, you name it, breeding kennels. in the city, and it gets out of control. That's what people live in townships for. And I grew up on 10 acres. I've had every farm animal you can imagine. But that is what you do in a township, and I do think that we do need to have a committee meeting on it, and let's talk to the people and see what they say. But you're going to have that group of people that they're going to ruin it for everybody else because they're not going to follow the rules. They're going to have roosters. They're not going to take care of them, and then it ends up causing quality of life issues for other people, and we can't do that. So I do think it needs to have an in-depth conversation, though. And I am very willing to be part of that conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hensley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I too get calls all the time for chickens roaming the neighborhood. We have pigs over on that I've been trying to get rid of for several years. And people don't listen, and you can tell that they don't follow the rules by driving some of our neighborhoods and seeing the mattresses and garbage that lay on the tree lawns, the cars that are parked in the front yards. Now, that's not to say that everyone who raises chickens, but even last weekend when I was driving my ward, my granddaughter goes, "Grandma, look at those 3 chickens in that guy's front yard." Now, those weren't his chickens. They were someone else's. And Mrs. Zelina can tell you all about chickens. But anyway, I think it's a bad idea, but we'll see.
Thank you. Ms. Duval.
Yes, Mr. President, to which committee would the chicken issue be assigned?
Well, it's got to be fried chicken, otherwise it ain't going to nothing. I would like to think it would be building and lands or, yeah. Correct. If you want to make a motion to send it to committee, more than
I would like to make a motion, Mr. President. Oh, no ordinance. Well, speaking for the chicken caucus, I hope we discuss this soon.
On that very enlightening discussion, if anybody's paying away attention to the national news, they have the Commerce Secretary publicly state that people should raise chickens if they're complaining about the price of eggs. Well, start raising your chickens. This is nationally so, but that's another topic. Okay, motion for adjournment? Mr. Nutt.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Ms. Henley. Support. Please vote.
The motion carries with 1 dissenting vote from Mr. Demakia.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Have a good evening. I gotta go.